This is KGW News at noon.
Our top story this noon is something you can probably look right outside and see. Heavy rain, wind, trees are down. Thousands are without power and storm drains are clogging up. This big tree came down in southeast Portland at 11th and Lexington in the Selwood neighborhood.
It's sad. You know, there's all the birds that use the tree and the shade we need for the neighborhood, so it's sad.
We're expecting more of this today as wet, windy weather hits Oregon and southwest Washington. Good afternoon, I'm Christine Pitawanich. As of right now, around 8,000 PGE customers are without power. It's especially windy at Mount Hood. The National Weather Service tweeted that at Timberline's Magic Mile chairlift, it was gusting to 104 miles per hour at 11:30 this morning. And whether you live in the Gorge Coast or the metro area, it is really wet and windy out there today. This is a look at some sky cams from around the area. Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Rod Hill. Rod, you were telling me a little earlier that there's even heavier stuff on the way.
Yeah, we still think the heaviest rain rates and potentially some of the stronger winds will come somewhere around 4 o'clock or so on into the evening hours. If you are traveling over the high country, that report from Timberline, that was the Magic Mile at 7,000 feet. When you drop down to 4,000 feet, Government Camp and the other pass elevations of where highways are, winds should stay more like gusting to 40 to no more than 55. But that's enough to make traveling very, very difficult. It's all being driven, of course, by this atmospheric river flow that's coming in. And look at all the rain being picked up on radar that's still yet to come. The heavier rain rates that have been generally to our north will be slowly dropping southward into our area in the coming hours. Right now, we actually have some breaks down around Salem. Here's heavier rain, though, between Longview and Battleground and up between Tillamook and Astoria, where you see the yellow. So just since midnight, Astoria is now well over 2 inches. Downtown Portland's just nearing a half of an inch, PDX, I should say, out along the Columbia. Downtown here at KGW, we are closer to an inch of rain already fallen so far today. You jump up into Cowlitz County, Kelso now 1.58 inches of rain. And not only the rain, but the wind is a big story. Here are the gusts right now, 33 from the southwest of Troutdale. South winds blowing to 32 in Aurora. Salem 31, Newport 37, and winds across much of Oregon. I should mention that we started off by showing that the leaves and that big beautiful tree down. Remember, this time of the year, before the leaves get off the trees, it takes even less wind to grab those leaves in the trees and send them toppling over. So we hope we don't see too much of that, but we may this afternoon. The wind advisory for the valley from up and down I-5 is extended, or in play, I should say, until 1 o'clock tonight. So we have the threat of strong gusty winds past the midnight hour. Right now we're at 55. We'll be in the 50s all evening. Christine, that wind advisories for potential winds of 50 miles per hour. We may not see them go that high. So far, Portland's had a peak wind of 37. Back to you.
Okay, thank you, Rod. And we do have crews headed to the coast and Mount Hood. We'll have live reports starting in our 4 o'clock newscast. Also, don't forget to download the KGW app. There you can get weather updates, you can share your weather photos, and also check out live Doppler radar. Now to another big story that we're following, Portland's homeless crisis. Portland City Council has approved Mayor Ted Wheeler's 5-part plan. There's a lot going on, so here's a quick breakdown. The first part of the plan calls for designated mass campsites for up to 250 people. Second, a ban on unsanctioned camping in the city. The third part of the plan calls for more affordable housing. The fourth prioritizes mental health and substance abuse treatment. And the fifth and final part is geared toward helping people who are convicted of low-level crimes get into diversion programs. KGW's Catherine Cook has more on City Council's approval, which came with some last-minute amendments to the mayor's plan.
I vote aye. The resolution is adopted. I want to thank my colleagues. This was not an easy lift.
It was about as heavy a lift as City Council has taken up in recent years, and it was fast-tracked. On Thursday, council members approved all 5 resolutions addressing Portland's homeless crisis. Resolutions penned by Mayor Ted Wheeler and shared with the public less than 2 weeks ago.
And the reason I thought they were all going to pass was because everybody in this city clearly sees that the status quo isn't working.
Last week, after hearing 7 hours of public testimony on the plan, council members proposed some amendments. Here are some that stuck. Commissioner Carmen Rubio proposed that instead of 3 massive camps of up to 500 people, the city should support 6 camps of up to 250 people each. Commissioner Joanne Hardesty proposed amendments ensuring care for people with disabilities and that the city would establish the camps all across Portland.
My intent is to make sure that we don't put all these camps in poor people neighborhoods. To be quite blunt, I want to make sure that these camps are shared by all Portlanders.
While those amendments stuck, ultimately Hardesty was the only one to vote no on the resolution to create the temporary mass encampments. Most who shared testimony on Thursday opposed it as well.
As a community health outreach worker, I fear the mass camping sites will promote a spread of infectious diseases like hepatitis C, which Oregon already has some of the highest rates of in the country.
I am confident that we are capable of setting up encampments that will have access to resources. And by the way, I would just compare that to the status quo, where there's a lot of people living in very clearly dangerous and squalid conditions.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Mayor Wheeler says the city is now entering the implementation phase of the plan, but there are still a lot of unanswered questions like what's the timeline for relocating campers? How much will it cost? The mayor says he'll release a bottom line number soon, along with more details on how to fund the plan. Meantime, with Election Day fast approaching, Oregon voters are weighing in on Measure 114, which could lead to some of the most strict gun control laws in the country. Measure 114 would require anyone buying a gun to get a permit issued by police. It also calls for other requirements like a photo ID, firearms training, and a background check. Additionally, it would ban magazines that hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. The Oregon Association of Sheriffs are among several local groups that oppose the measure, saying it'll divert police resources away from crime and then also restrict law-abiding gun owners. Meanwhile, people marched yesterday morning at Dawson Park in North Portland to support Measure 114.
Nowhere in 114 has anybody said that we're coming after your Second Amendment right. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with people being responsible with the guns that they have and not using them against each other.
A recent Nelson Research poll asked nearly 600 likely Oregon voters their thoughts on Measure 114. 46% said they'd support it. 49% said they're against it. Another measure on the ballot is related to health care. We're talking about Measure 111. It would amend the Oregon Constitution, making Oregon the first state in the country to ensure health care access for all. The state voters pamphlet says a yes vote would require the state to ensure affordable health care access. We spoke with Hannah Winchester, a physical therapist and member of the Oregon Federation of Nurses and Health Professionals.
I think it's really important to very succinctly and very clearly state that goal, that healthcare is a human right and it should be awarded to every person in Oregon.
The bill's opponents say it's too vague and does not protect the state financially in terms of the cost of guaranteeing healthcare access or the risk of being sued if it fails to do so. The Senate Minority Leader said it's a promise that can't be delivered. So if you have any questions ahead of Election Day, check out the online election guide on our website. Just text the word election to the number on your screen. That's 503-226-5088. We'll text you back with a link that includes comprehensive coverage of local races and ballot measures.